The late adopter. Hi guys, an important video today because I think we might just be at some kind of very low levels right now and some kind of bottom. So we're gonna talk about that because last night I've been looking at charts, mainly Bitcoin, and I'm trying to figure out whether this is the bottom or not. My technical analysis is decent. It's good enough to to give us sometimes direction, sometimes some kind of tops and bottoms. It predicts very nicely. It doesn't predict, but it gives very high degree of probability towards one side or other side. But oftentimes you'll get into this into this space where it's really hard to predict what's the next move, right? And so I do what every normal person would do. I try to look outside of the box. So I've been looking at some kind of other technical indicators, some other charts, and I'm going to show you a couple of charts that might indicate that we are at some kind of bottom. Now, if these charts and indicators are saying that we are at some kind of bottom, right, it might maybe be that we are going to go towards the upside, and it is very probable, the way I see it, that this is the bottom. I'm going to show you why. But it is a little bit still a little bit uncertain. So without further ado, not a financial advice. You do your money, I'll do my money, all that shebang. That said, let's first start and see what's been happening here down on the 4-hourly time frame. So I think this 4-hourly time frame, this move on downside, I think it's getting very, very close to the ending. I think it already ended, but there is different ways to draw the trend lines. So we can actually start on the daily time frame up here, just so I can explain to you, if you haven't been watching the videos before, how this works. So oftentimes you get some kind of trend. Oftentimes you get some kind of trend towards downside, upside. You break the trend. Oftentimes you try to test that trend on the downside a couple of times. You try to break it again and continue. If you fail that, you continue going towards upside. You break certain important resistance up here, the neckline. Once you break the neckline, this might continue towards upside. You can see here we are back below the neckline, but this is not very important thing, because there is actually a triangle up here that we are retesting right now. We're gonna come back to that, but the important thing is when trends break, that often means that the trend is changing. It doesn't mean it's gonna go towards the upside. It just means the trend is changing. So the trend right now over here on the daily time did change. We had this down trend, we went sideways. Right now we are changing even towards the upside almost. So we're gonna see how this actually plays out. But on the 4-hourly, what I want to talk about is this short-term downtrend, and I think it's already over, or very, very close to being over right now. So let me explain to what we've been seeing. So if you see some kind of trend up here, if you take from the top to the bottom right over here, you can see that we have been having this downtrend, and we broke this downtrend over here right now. So the trick over here that's happening right now is some kind of test on these bottoms down here, and then turn around and go towards the upside. So this is some kind of consolidation phase up here at the bottom, where we are gonna reverse and go towards the upside. Now the trend line is a little bit tricky to draw. There are several ways to draw it. You can draw it like this. This also looks like it broke towards the upside right now, retesting. But I think the trend line should be drawn down here for one reason, because oftentimes when you got some kind of trend lines, this was the first downtrend line over here. We broke that up here, we consolidated, and as soon as that, you should be looking at some kind of other pivot points up here. Now, if you look at this pivot point over here, although not the best kind of pivot point up here, doesn't look like we are breaking it up here. But it's small time frames, so which one is the correct or not. It can be important, but it's small time frames. That said, down here we have some very, very nice indications that this is the bottom. First of all, this trend line, whether it's broken or not, it can be discussed. And if it is broken, it's already going to this move towards the upside, and I think it's broken because what's happening down here. So let me show you what's happening down here on the bottom down here, and this is some kind of double bottom. So this over here, it looks like a double bottom down here. We broke the neckline up here towards the upside, so double bottom is confirmed. Double bottom is confirmed. The second thing is that we have this high and this higher high, so we get a higher high up here. So we are moving towards the upside right now in the small time frames, which is also good, showing the direction towards the upside. Very nice. Also, after this double bottom confirmation, we got this engulfing candle down here, which is also a bullish signal up here, because you can see this green candle is a lot bigger than this candle. So this is a bullish signal towards the upside. Very nice move towards the upside. So this double bottom more or less is being confirmed. Also on the RSI, this rubber band indicator on the downside. We got some kind of a, price is going towards downside, the RSI is going towards upside, so this bullish divergence towards upside. Now this already played out, so we are not really interested, but it does confirm that this double bottom is legit. Also we got a bullish cross on the MACD on the 4 hourly down here, and you can see the green is starting going towards the upside. So there's all kinds of indications right now that this over here is a double bottom on the small time frames, and we are right now moving towards the upside. So it is a very nice move, and considering that this trend over here maybe or maybe not be broken, depends on how you draw it. I like to use the pivot points, like up here, top points. These moves that go something like this, using these is not actually advisable. Sometimes you do that, but most of the time you don't. And this looks like legit move, breaking the resistance up here after this double bottom. So that's why I think this trend line over here is a lot more legit than the other trend line, because we already had this double bottom, moved above the resistance up here, right now going a little bit on the downside. This down move can actually come back down here, so you get this triple bottom up here, but you can also just return and continue towards the upside. So you see right now that on the small time frames, on the 4 hourly time frames, we do have some kind of bottom down here at the bottom happening, right? We do have some kind of bottom here happening on the small time frames. Now on the daily time frames, it does not look that it does look like it's kind of slowing down here, but that's because there is a lot of support right below us up here. If you're just gonna do horizontal supports, you can see here horizontal support is holding up here, right? That's very nice. So but this is not the biggest thing. I think the triangle is the biggest thing in the moving average. I'm gonna show you up here. We've been talking about this yesterday, of course. We were talking about it yesterday. So this triangle up here, we've been talking about for ages, because everybody's looking at some kind of ascending triangle, but we are looking at the triangle up here, and you can see that we are coming to back test this triangle on the downside, and right now we are expecting the move towards the upside, because any kind of other move below is very, very bad for price of Bitcoin, and we are assuming that it cannot go even further towards the downside. I mean, it can go like something like 30,000, 32,000 down here. I'm gonna show you why it can go down there, but it is such a such a small move towards the downside. It's not that big move towards the downside. Can we do another move up here, some kind of capitulation phase? I think we already got capitulation phase down here, accumulation, so there is no reason to do this move again towards downside. I'm going to show you why around 30, 32 might be some kind of level that we might go down to. But right now this looks like a very decent up down move towards the support line, and right now we're expecting a move towards the upside. Also, of course, if you look at the moving averages, 20 and 100 moving averages, stellar support right over here. So number one, we are at 50 100 moving average, the triangle support right below us up here. We are getting on the small time frames, because on the daily time frame you cannot see that right now, but on the 4 hour you just saw that we got double bottom, divergence, this, that, all kinds of nice stuff, bullish engulfing candles, all kind of nice stuff up here, that it might indicate that we are getting this bottom up here, and then we are going to continue towards the upside. There are of course resistances on the upside that we have to break to be bullish, but this looks good enough to actually tell us that support is right now holding, it is doing good, so this might just continue towards the upside. So you can see right now on the daily time frame, we might be at that bottom. That's why I'm saying this might be a very, very good move for Bitcoin. On the daily time frame, we are still going on the downside down here, and you might people might think that this is going to continue going towards downside, but I think this is right now the bottom, and oftentimes just before we switch the trend up here on the MACD, that's when the bottom hits, because you can see here, I'm going to show you, you see here the top up here, it corresponds with this change up here. It's not the cross, it's the change that corresponds with the top. I don't know if you can see it up here, but these tops up here, they correspond to the change. So we are looking for the change right now to kick in, maybe on Monday, Tuesday, right? To change the kick in, and that would mean that is the bottom right now over here. So even the MACD, there is some kind of bullishness down here. The daily RSI is right now sitting at something like 45 levels, which is very, very good for the price, because right now it can go back up again. Because you see up here, it went up to some kind of 70 levels, so it needs to pull back a little bit. It pulled back, and right now we can do another big move towards the upside with the RSI, because RSI oftentimes does this when it trends towards the upside. So, you know, we are at, you know, where we should be on the RSI at some kind of 45 levels. We pull down to the support. There is a big support down there. The MACD looks like it's going to change towards the upside, and this on daily time frame. So right now we're going to, you know, into higher time frames, and this is the weekly time frame. So even with this big move on the downside, let me just remove the moving averages. We can talk about them in a second. You can see that we have two green moves up here. Even with this big red candle on the downside right now, the green is still staying in. We are not getting any bearish cross right now, so all is good and dandy on the MACD. And this is a big time frame. This is the most, you know, important time frame on Bitcoin, the way I see it, the weekly time frame. Having the bullish cross on the weekly time frame does indicate that, you know, you might just be bullish. The RSI looks also nice at 45 levels, so all of the indicators right now looking, you know, ready to pump. We are looking at some kind of bottom out of the triangle, back on the support. Small time frames confirming that this might just have been, you know, nice. But even after all of this, and this is, you know, and let me one more thing on the you know, classical technical analysis. Let me show you one more thing. Up here you can see that the volume is kicking in. Oftentimes the volume does kick in on the retest down here. You can see here we started up here and down here. Oftentimes it kicks on the retest because people have been saying that, hey man, the price is going up, it's breaking out, you know, there is no volume. But I've been saying that oftentimes it can also kick on the retest, and right now I think the volume is coming on this move towards the downside right now on the big time frame. The small time frame, you'll see that actually is going a little bit differently. This on Qcoin and other charts is a little bit different. You can see the volume is going down, so you know which chart is actually, but you know, we are looking at Qcoin for whatever reason. You know, the volume seems, you know, okay. Because every other chart is like volume is totally flat, like, so I'm not quite sure what's happening there. But over on Qcoin, it does look like, you know, there is actually moves on the chart. That said, let's go to daily time frame. What you're gonna see here on the daily time frame is you're gonna see that the volume is actually going down. So the price is going down and the volume is going down as well. So this move on the downside is not having that much interest. How we analyze the volume is based on the interest. So if the price is going up and the volume is going up, that's interest. So volume going up, that means interest in the price move wherever the price is moving. Price is moving towards downside, the volume is going up, there is interest in the volume to go, in the price to go down. So over here you can see here that we have been climbing towards the upside all the way up here. So technically ever since up here and this up here, this has been confirming a very bullish trend towards the upside. And right now this move on the downside is going with a low volume, so this does not look that strong. So even this down move, it doesn't look that strong. It's slowly falling, it's falling to the support. We just saw on the 4-hour that we are having some kind of bottom. We just saw on the daily that we are having very nice supports right below us where we should be. And right now comes the question, are we at the bottom? Should we go down to some kind of 20,000, 10,000, or should we go to 100,000, something like that? And this is where, you know, the technical analysis, the classical technical analysis, the way we do it on this channel over here, stops. You know, because right now, oftentimes you'll get to this point over here, and you don't know what's gonna happen. So we don't, you know, we assume this should go towards the upside because everything looks bullish. But oftentimes it might be some kind of on-chain analysis, this and that says that, you know, we have more room to go down. So I've been looking around a little bit, and there is this logarithmic growth curves that we can look at. And what you're gonna see here on a logarithmic line, we're gonna do full scale chart up here. What you're gonna see on the logarithmic curves up here is that we are at some kind of bottom, right? So, you know, because you gotta look outside the box. So we are right now outside of the classical technical analysis. We are looking a little bit outside of the box, whether this confirms or not confirms. But, you know, the lines does look nice, and when some lines look nice, you know, we like the lines, right? So what you're gonna see here, of course, is that, you know, the tops up here on the logarithmic, these logarithmic curves right now, the top is up here at 160,000, something like that, right? While the bottoms, you can see very nice, the bottoms up here, every single bottom down here is around right now at 32,000 down here. So can we go down? Yes, we can. We got something like 32,000. We can still pull down to some kind of 32,000. That's why I said earlier in the video that, you know, we might do that. And watching this chart over here, we just might, you know, go down back to 32,000. It would, you know, get a lot of people scared, and maybe it's gonna be less dump that we're gonna go towards the upside. So all of this classical analysis that we just did might go right out of the trash. You know, if we move towards the downside. But, you know, the question is, why should we go again all the way towards the downside when we just had this, you know, big, you know, 3 months long accumulation phase right over here? So what I'm thinking, it's more plausible up here just to continue going towards the upside up here, because you can see even this move towards the upside didn't come all the way to the top. It just came like a little bit up, a little bit down, and pulled back down again. So right now it does look like it's playing a little bit differently. It might be because, you know, a lot of institutions are in, but the question is, why should we go down there? Why should we go back to 32,000 and then pump? And why shouldn't we just pump right over here? Because this downtrend is broken. This, you know, sideways movement is kind of broken right now, you know, towards the upside. So we are definitely changing some kind of trend towards the upside. So right now to change again to the downside, then you know, go down here and then continue towards upside. Can this happen? Yes, it can happen. And that's why I'm saying this 32 level on the downside looks like being some kind of support right now. So going down to some kind of 20,000 down here, I mean, it can happen. This is Corona dump. It happened before. It definitely can happen again. 10,000, why not? It can. I mean, we can definitely, something can happen. We can go down there. But looking at this chart over here, it does tell us that, you know, that we are at some kind of very low levels, and that, you know, the classical analysis right now telling you, I think right now it does have, you know, room for growth, and we can definitely go up from here. So logarithmic charts are nice and all that, you know. So that's one of these things that I was looking for, like how low is Bitcoin actually, and I think it's pretty low. Like 32,000 is like nothing. It's like, how much is that right now down there? That's like 20% more on the downside. It's not gonna scare anybody with 20%, even if it drops 20% in one day and just stays down here, you know, in fear, you know, and then, you know, goes towards upside. I mean, 20% is not going to, you know, scare anybody, the way I see it. So right now on the logarithmic curve, it does look nice. It does look nice. And there is the last chart, of course, and that's the Bitcoin stock to flow model. This is from the guy called Plan B. Now he did a bad call once, and everybody's like, oh man, that guy's bad. But his stock to flow model is still following some lines. Now, the only thing I want to show you here is that we are in this green dot down here, green dots down here after this yellow dot. So, you know, this was some kind of capitulation where we got into really green dots up here, really green dots, you know. But whether we are gonna move a little bit more towards downside, get these really dark green dots down here or not, that depends, because history, although it does repeat, it doesn't necessarily repeat like cyclically, you know, every 4 years. Like, that would be insane. That would be insane. I know the Bitcoin is a program. It does work certain ways, but, you know, there is a lot of manipulation when it comes to price. So, you know, there is this technically, and since we didn't even come up to, you know, to the line up here, once we start going up here in the red, you can see up here in the red, it's already started going up here. Even here at the top, it was actually the orange lines. So which kind of colors these are, a little bit differently, right? But we are below the where we should be. That's around 100,000. Way below 100,000, and by 2025 we should be at around 1 million, right? If we follow the model. I don't know how good his model is, because it does go like crazy towards the upside, but, you know, we should be, you know, somewhere around 100,000, and that means that we are right now being, you know, at what's that, 42,000. We are a lot undervalued, oversold towards the downside, so there is a lot more probability towards the upside than to actually go to the downside. So all the thing that I want to say with this video over here is that small time frames look good as some kind of bottom. Daily time frames look good like we are sitting on the support, and you know, these bigger time frames, weekly time frames does indicate, although we can see here that we are breaking this towards downside, but we are not going all the way down. We're going just to 10 moving average, and we broke certain levels up here. So maybe, just maybe, next week we're gonna have a big pump. The thing is, today Sunday, we're gonna get this weekly close. It looks like it's gonna close below the 50 and the 20. Maybe we have some kind of nice pump towards the upside. Maybe we manage to, you know, recover this, but this is like 10% move towards the upside. So I'm a little bit unsure about that, especially how slow Bitcoin is right now. So I don't think we're gonna do that. But next week, even if we closed all the way down here, if we next week manage to pump towards the upside, that's gonna be the indication that the bull run is restarting. We can actually do that. So next week, you know, this might pump towards the upside. So that's what I'm looking for next week, that this is gonna pump. I'm pretty sure it's gonna close in red, you know, this week, but next week, I think if we get the pump and if everything goes as planned, and if my analysis is okay, then we should pump pretty big time up here. And if you pump back above the, you know, 45,000 up here, which isn't actually good, you know, that much for a weekly time frame, it's 7 days. If you manage to pump above, you close above the 45,000 again, that's gonna be the most bullish signal you can get. Last thing I'm gonna show you, I'm showing you a lot of things now. This is like right now 19 minutes video, but yeah, last thing, the moons, guys, the moons. We gotta talk about the moons at the ending up here. Unfortunately, on the 16th, we are getting the full moon up here. So the full moons are actually pumping us towards the upside. Sometimes they start before, sometimes start a little bit after, you know. Here the price started going up before, here the price started going up a little bit after, you know. But you know, the pump moons is coming. So this new moon, the dump moon, pushed us towards the downside. So right now we're expecting some kind of consolidation here, and you know, to start pumping towards the upside. And you know, when this full moon kicks in on the 16th, you know, that's good. So we are not expecting any kind of more, you know, new moon that's gonna push us to the downside. We are expecting the full moon that's gonna push us towards the upside. A little bit of astrology at the end there, but you know, for people that do believe in moons, and moons are pretty accurate. If you just there has been analysis done. If you just traded the moons, you'll be up by a whole lot, you know, in Bitcoin. So you can do check that out when the moons come out, and you know, you buy here, you sell here, you buy here, you sell here, you know. So these buy sells. So this is a buy signal, this is a sell signal, right? So if you do that over the history of Bitcoin, you know, you'll see that you will be up by a lot. And I think it also beats the hodling strategy as well. I might be wrong, but you know, you can double check that. Doesn't matter, the full moon is coming in. We look at it to be some kind of bottom down here. Everything looks nice. Bitcoin looks also historically to be some kind of low levels. I don't know, I'm more bullish than bearish. I think this should go towards the upside. I think we are some kind of bottom right now. I think everything is set up for next week to be very nice, but not financial advice. Whatever happens, you know, you do your money, I'll do my money. If this for whatever reason starts to falling on the downside more on downside, we get back inside this, you know, this triangle down here. And you know, even if we go to downside, I mean, looking at this, you know, there's definitely some kind of 30 levels supports here that might hold, and then we are at some kind of extreme bottom. The question is whether we're gonna do this last move on downside. And you guys know what I always say about, you know, just one more move to hell, the last move to hell, one last dump. You know what I say always about that. Take care, guys. Have a nice Sunday. Tomorrow, you know, is gonna be hopefully a nice day, nice week. Chill, relax, have fun. Bye bye, guys. Sorry about the long video. Sometimes I just like talking. See you around, guys. Okay, now that everybody left, you know, the non-believers left the video, and right now closing the video, they are not watching this last part. So this last part is only for the, you know, true TF fans club guys, true guys that are, you know, liking the content and watching all the way through. Now, I just want to mention something about Dogecoin, because me and my wife was talking a little bit about Dogecoin, you know, and you know that Elon Musk actually bought, you know, 9% stake in Twitter. And I've been saying that Dogecoin has, you know, CEO of Dogecoin is Elon Musk, you know. And who is CEO of Bitcoin, or who is CEO of Luna or Solana? Nobody knows, but Elon Musk is CEO of Dogecoin. Yeah, you gotta remember that. I know that there is, you know, proof of work, stuff like that when Dogecoin comes in. You know, it's not centralized, so, you know, he cannot do it. But there is still things he can do with Dogecoin, and there is still, you know, he believes in Dogecoin. He likes the meme about Dogecoin, so he's gonna stick with it. So remember that Dogecoin is the CEO of Dogecoin is Elon Musk. Also, Elon Musk, you know, start PayPal, successful. Started SpaceX, successful. Started Tesla, successful. Buying Twitter, it looks like already is gonna be a success, because he's already talking. And the thing he's talking about right now, we can go to Twitter right now. If you go to Elon Musk, I'm gonna show you right now, Elon Musk. If you go to Elon Musk right now, tweets and replies, delete the V in Twitter. I don't know what the V is. If I knew what the V is in Twitter. He's just trolling. Convert Twitter SF haircut to homeless shelter since no one shows up anyway. Yeah, so he's having a little bit fun, of course, but let me go. Here he says, everyone who signs up for Twitter Blue, meaning the checkmark, pays $3 a month should get an authentication checkmark. Number one, this is gonna be, if they start paying for the authentication checkmark, not the kind of checkmark that you get for being a content creator or something, but you know, different kind of checkmark to, you know, get away from bots. They can, you know, take payment, you know, to verify the users, right? This is of course number one. They're gonna increase the revenue of Twitter, is gonna rise up. But he said up down here, but should be different from public figure of official account checkmark. That's what I just said. This blue checkmark, maybe it's gonna be red or yellow checkmark or whatever, right? But maybe even an option to pay in Dogecoin. You see that? I'm telling you guys, the Elon Musk is not leaving Doge behind. He's pulling Doge with him towards the sky. Just so you know that. Just so you know that. I'm not saying, you know, this is not, you know, financial advice to buy Dogecoin or not. You know, I'm just saying that, you know, Elon Musk is CEO of Dogecoin, and he's taking it with him wherever he goes. He's not selling his Dogecoin. And if Twitter allows, you know, to pay in Dogecoin, you know what's gonna happen with the price of Dogecoin, guys? I'm just saying, you know, but we are not gonna look too much on the chart, but you know, I've been talking a little bit with my wife about it. We think it's funny. Anyways, for the guys that watched through the ending of the previous video into this one, you know, just a small mention on Dogecoin because it's interesting. Okay, see you around, guys. Bye bye.